Patty Lifts Natural Physique Pro here to take you guys through my personal ab routine so you guys can develop an aesthetic six-pack yourself. Everyone has ab muscles, but depending on what body composition you're at will depend if you're able to see them. It is really important that you actually develop them before you do lean down to ensure they have that 3D pop and they are a lot more visible. This specific routine helped me optimally activate my ab muscles with these slight variations to each of these exercises. It's really easy, so let me take you guys through it right now. So the first exercise we're gonna be doing is the arms extended ab crunch. A lot of people do this exercise, but they actually don't activate their abs. A lot of people just activate their hip flexors. So what we're gonna do is different variations and follow these little tips so you guys can optimally activate your core. So what I recommend is actually starting off with no weight at all. And what we're gonna do is just perform a regular crunch with our arms by our sides. So what we're gonna do is lift up our shoulder blades slightly off the floor. What you want to do is focus on the top abs and the middle abs when you're performing this exercise to avoid any activation in the hip. So try and relax your legs, relax your hip area while you're flexing up. So the next thing we're gonna do is extend our arms. It's gonna be a little bit harder, so if you can't do this right away, it's okay. But for you people who are advanced, let's give this a try now. Make sure we're fully activating. Ensure you're flexing your core before you start to bring your back up. A lot of the time people swing their arms up to use momentum like this, and they actually lose tension on their core. You want to make sure you're keeping that tension on your core muscles, feeling the burn in your abs. We're trying to activate our core. We're trying to work out our core. We're not just trying to go through the motions to ensure we're fully developing them throughout this workout. So if you guys are finding the arms extended too easy, what we're gonna do is add some weight. But we wanna ensure we're not swinging our arms with our weight in the hands to continue to keep tension on the core. So let's get to this exercise. The rep range I like to do is actually 8 to 10 reps. Once you hit 8 reps, go for 9, then go for 10. Once you can hit 10 comfortable reps, increase the weight and then start back down at 8. So that's it for the first exercise. We're gonna be moving on to the next exercise that's gonna help activate more of the lower core and also have more oblique involvement. One little thing before we move on is that what we want to do when we're focusing on core activation is focusing on shortening at the core. So not just bending at the hip like this. What we want to do is focus on taking our shoulders up top and bringing them closer to our hips. So we're actually shortening at the core or the torso. Personal opinion, this exercise here is one of the best overall ab activators because it also activates your obliques. So your obliques are these muscles here on the sides, along with the rectus abdominis, which is this part here. There's a catch to this exercise. It's a little bit advanced if you're not able to perform it, but don't worry, I'm gonna provide substitutions so you can work your way up to this exercise. So just like the other exercise, we're gonna flex our core and activate it before we start the movement, and then raise our legs up. Just like the first concept we talked about, we want to focus on shortening at the core. So we're actually going to be bringing our hips up closer to our shoulders versus just that bend at the hips. By doing this, we can more activate our core and less activate our hip flexors, which is the most common problem with this exercise. The next key thing you do want to focus on when you're performing this exercise is keeping a slight bend in the knees. It was found to have a higher activation in the core if the knees were slightly bent. When you start extending your knees and lifting the legs up too high, you start involving your hip flexors a lot more, and then you see a lot of people start swinging. Once you start swinging, you're gonna use momentum, and then that tension from the core area is totally gone, where you're not getting the maximum activation and development. So let's move over to some easier variations you guys can do if this one's a little bit too hard. So the first variation, if it's really hard, is going to be the lying leg raise. So what I'm gonna do is take my hands like this put them under my butt, and then just lift my legs straight up and lower them just before my heels touch the ground. So let's say that one's a little bit too easy. What you can do is actually take your hands out of the movement, put them by your sides, and then you can do them without that support. And then lastly, what you can do is lay on a decline bench, put your hands up here or on a Roman chair, and then do knee raises. Woo. Damn, these exercises are giving me an ab pump. I really feel the burn already, but we have one more exercise to do, and this is a secret variation that most people don't know about, and it's called the weighted long lever plank. And the long lever plank will allow us to get an isometric contraction. So that means when the muscle is contracting but not moving. The main driver for muscle hypertrophy is actually the eccentric, is when you're lowering the weight or going with gravity and controlling it. But second to that is that isometric contraction, and that's what we're gonna do here. To make this a long lever plank is, instead of aligning our shoulders and elbows straight down to the floor, we're gonna be actually putting our elbows in front of our body. The next thing we're gonna do is, when we plank, we're gonna take our hips and focus on tilting them forward. And then we're gonna keep our core tight, and this is what makes this long lever. If you guys wanna take this to the next level, you can actually get a friend, or if you can, put some weight on your back. Woo. So the progression to this one is, we're gonna add time. We're gonna do 3 sets at 30 seconds, then we're gonna up it next time. 3 sets at 35 seconds, all the way up to 45 seconds. Once you can do that, we're gonna add a little bit more weight and then work our way back up again. And we're gonna be doing 3 sets at 30 seconds with more weight, 3 sets at 35 seconds with more weight, and so on. So I'm gonna hit you guys with one bonus exercise, and it's one of my favorites, the weighted Russian twist. And I'll show you guys how I do that. So what I like to use for the Russian twist is actually a med ball. I find that it's a lot easier to hold than like a dumbbell or a kettlebell. So for beginners, I recommend keeping the weight a little bit close to the body, crunching up slightly, and then twisting side to side. So it's really important we actually twist our torso. We don't just twist our arms like this. We're not getting any activation like that. Maybe a little bit of a burn, but we're not getting the maximum activation. So we wanna turn side to side. And to make it a little bit harder, if you wanna check out my feet, we're gonna lift those up as well. And then we're gonna twist our body side to side. You guys can see I'm shaking already. So that's what I find helps a lot with my oblique development. A lot of people like, let's say, doing it on the cables, twisting side to side. There's a lot of other variations of each exercise out there. So find what feels best for you and continue developing. The abs are just like every other muscle. They need to be worked through progressive overload. So let's say 8 to 10 reps is getting too easy. Don't just do 20 reps, don't just do 30 reps. You need that mechanical tension from the resistance training, from the higher resistance, the higher tension to continue to develop. Other than that, guys, that's my personal ab routine. It's helped me develop the core that I have for the men's physique class, and hopefully for the bodybuilding class right now. I'm gonna be coming out with more tips like this, but let me know if you guys liked it in the comment section below. If you aren't a part of the team, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.